You want to start a garden, but you don't know how to do it? That's okay. Just funk around and find out. Think of it like gardening preschool. Now, as adults, we are used to being good at what we do. We know what we're doing. We've been doing it for a long time. We feel very comfortable in most of the areas of our life, and that is great. But it also means that things can get boring and stale. So sometimes you're doing everything right, you're doing all this stuff, and you feel somehow unfulfilled, like you're not having fun anymore. And part of that is because you're controlling every area of your life, and you know what you're doing. And although that is a feeling of security, the feeling of security isn't always that fun. So how do we have more fun? Playtime. And what is playtime? It's experiencing a world that we can't control and don't know everything about. How have I done that in my life? I started a garden. I have no idea what I'm doing. My name's Heather, and I have been a professional crafter for over 10 years. You might know me from my website, dollarstorecrafts.com. And I literally wrote a book on failure. So let's fail together. Come join me. Let's start a garden and let's funk around and find out. It all started in 2020 when I was stuck inside like many of you, and I just needed to get out somehow. I couldn't really leave my yard, but what I did was transformed this boat that my partner made. He made a boat that was not seaworthy, and it was just sitting in our yard. And I said, what if we make that into an herb garden? So in 2020, we filled it up with dirt. We bought a few plants at the garden center, and now we have a fairly well-established herb garden that we are able to add to every year. So this is my sort of success story in my garden in terms of you can see more mature plants, and it gives you kind of an idea of what can happen if you put yourself out there and try. Now again, I still don't know what I'm doing. So if you look around our yard, you can see all these different plants, and there's a variety of plants. There's stuff that looks like it's growing okay, although if you look closer, it sort of looks not super happy. There's like helper plants that are laying on the ground, don't know why. And then there's just these random like collections of different things. This year, my partner actually paid a man that he found online, probably like Facebook Marketplace or something, to rototill our grass. So we don't really have much of a lawn anymore, but this year we've added these garden beds, and he planted a bunch of veggies. So right now we have zucchini, different kinds of zucchini, like there's a pollinator in the flower. We always get super excited when we see that. Nasturtiums. This was a whole patch of arugula that we let go to seed, which is super fun. I'll talk about that sometime. We just tore out half of it and reseeded it with some other stuff. I think it's mostly radishes. We've got onions, more nasturtiums, tomato plants that aren't doing anything. Ooh, borage. Our borage is all knocked over today. It was tall yesterday, but now it's shorter. And then this is one of my favorite rows, is this little row of fennel. And the fennel came from this plant here. I don't know how well you can see it in the video, but I planted this bronze fennel about 2 years ago in the boat, or maybe 3 years ago. And last fall, I collected seeds from the flowers. They get pollinated, then they dry out and they produce seeds, and you can just collect them. And that's how I made the row of baby fennel that we planted this spring. So that's probably the most fun thing for me, is just like actually planting seeds that I collected myself from my garden, and seeing them grow is really, really fun. So as you can see, we've got a lot going on in this garden. There's a lot of things growing. There's a giant geranium. It's like 4 feet tall. there's all this stuff, and there's things to learn every day. There's something to look at every day, and there's something to learn every day. And this is a really sad journey, or sorry, this is a sad hydrangea. Anyway, you don't need to know everything when you start. You just need to start and figure it out as you go. There's no way that I could learn everything about soil amendments, fertilizer, planting seeds, making seed starts, which plants to buy, what works well in my yard, how to trim every plant. There's no way for me to learn everything at once. But what I can do is I can jump in, I can plant these things, and then as needed, I watch a YouTube video or read an article or do a search for how to manage these plants. And in that way, I'm learning over time. Every day I learn something new, but I don't know what I'm doing. I still don't know what I'm doing. I do not feel like an expert at all. So if you want to have fun, try something new, learn, and have fun playing, then you should start a garden. It gives you something to do every day. Twice a day, I walk through my garden to see what's happened. And some plants grow enough every day and during the day that I can literally see the progress in that one day. And some, they sit there for weeks and nothing happens. And then one week, they'll make a ton of growth and a ton of things will happen. And it's just really fun to monitor and keep track of. So if you're afraid to try, that's good. That fear is part of the fear is the feeling of being afraid of incompetence, being afraid of not controlling everything, being afraid of not being perfect. And that fear is part of what's keeping you from enjoying your life. So an easy way where no one can see you fail to try something new and infuse new energy into your life is to start a new project. And I recommend gardening because it's fun, it gives you something new to learn every day, and you get something to show for it at the end. I mean, even if you don't harvest all the plants or eat them all or use them all, you will eat some, you will taste some every day, you will be able to watch things grow, and it really enriches your life. So if you want to start gardening but you don't know what you're doing, I recommend starting a funk around and find out garden. Just find one pot, fill it with dirt, get some seeds, fill them up, put seeds in there, plant them, and get going. Or go to your garden center, just see whatever plants call out to you, try planting them, and then just see what happens. You might fail, some might die. I've had tons of plants die, but I've had tons of plants that take off and I didn't know that they would. And that's the finding out part of the funking around. So if you're looking for something fun to do, why don't you join me, start gardening, and let's funk around and find out together.